And we are back, and it is time to do the kayfabe issues. Hit my intro.
Oh, you were not aware of this? Your posterior better contact someone at once!
Alright, and we've got a new game this week. It's called What's the Story? I will read an actual headline, and our esteemed panelists and also NetJester will try to make up a plausible story for that headline that isn't the actual story, and points will be deducted if they get too close to the actual story. So we'll just kick right into this. Omega BR, WWE furious over Brie Bella Raw slip.
Well, I can only assume that she was preparing some meat backstage and just left it out, some raw meat, some raw deli meat, and an intern or someone slipped on it and hurt himself.
Alright, I'll just add a couple points on there. Gunner, WWE are furious over what happened, are furious over Brie Bella Raw slip.
You see, this week, Brie Bella walked out to the ring wearing a dress that was the Raw logo on her dress. However, the Raw logo, the A of the logo, was cut out in such a strategic way that it was extremely suggestive that Raw is ass.
I'm going to add a few points on. That was actually pretty good. NetJester, WWE furious over Brie Bella Raw slip.
Well, as you know, the Bellas performing in the ring is absolutely horrible. And it shouldn't come as a shock to anyone that they have hurt one of their opponents in the ring. We won't be seeing Foxy Lovejoy. I'm sorry, we won't be seeing Foxy Brown. Oh, I'm sorry, we won't be seeing... seriously, what's her real name? I can't remember. For a few weeks, because Brie Bella... Alicia Fox, thank you, has slipped and hurt... Brie Bella has slipped and hurt on Alicia Fox.
And I'm deducting points for saying things about hurting Alicia Fox because I love her and her chocolatey goodness. Omega BR.
Don't get mad at me.
Omega BR. What happened with Lita that caused concern? That is your headline.
What happened with Lita? Well, given Lita's less than savory past, I can only assume that she found out that the tattoos she has of sugar skulls are actually tattoos of bitter skulls.
Well played, Omega BR. I'll add a couple points on for that. Gunner, what happened with Lita that caused concern?
Over the weekend, Lita's band went on a tour, and they were in North Carolina. They went to the mountains. She went to the mountains to go hiking because she loves doing that kind of shit. And basically, what happened is that she had an accident where she went over on edge. Beth Phoenix could not be reached for comment.
But
I'm giving you points for that. NetJester, what happened with Lita that caused concern?
Neither could be the... hold on a second. I'm a terrible person.
Oh, crap.
The other... neither Beth Phoenix nor the Blue Blazer could be reached for comment.
Oh!
neither Beth Phoenix, the Blue Basil, or either of the Hardy Boys, Edge, 3/4 of the backstage WWE staff, 3 gaffers,
Stop!
2 tow truck drivers.
I wasn't implying she was a whore. I was implying that she went over the edge.
Oh, okay, I'm starting, and you guys can't stop me. Jeez. All right, what happened with Lita that caused concern is the fact that, unfortunately, Lita, as she's touring around with her band right now, and this has something to do with the Bellas, unfortunately, because, no, I take that back. This doesn't have anything to do with the Bellas. This has to do with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, CM Punk, because while he was stealing the show once again, if only for a promo at Raw, she was... I give up. She got laryngitis. Let's move on.
Gunner, feeling with the soundboard for the Gunner for that entirely too late buzzer. Once again, with negative.
Well, I don't know what that was, but that was just total lag, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was lag. Okay, well, we'll have to talk to Kurt, our benevolent leader, about that later.
I don't believe that for a second.
The next headline, Ryback addresses the, quote, "feed me morons." Omega BR.
Well, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the concept of vor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But, let's just say it involves, hunger.
First 6 words right off the edge.
In more than one manner of speaking.
I'm a little grossed out right now. Gunner, please save us.
So the too long don't read version of this is basically he likes going down on dumb women. There. No punchline, straight to the point.
I could have done with a little bit more dancing. Ew.
And I'm going to regret this. Net Jester, please amuse us with your lack of comedy skills.
I don't know. Ryback addressed the feed me morons. You see, as he has turned heel, it has now become obvious that Ryback is going balls out to try to piss people off. He has now called his former fans the feed me morons because they have been in his corner and shouting feed me more every time his music has come out. So, damn it. It's detestable, but he's just trying to piss people off.
Net Jester, you just gave us the actual story, which means you get even more negative points.
How am I supposed to know these things?
The actual story there, and I'm not kidding here. So Ryback is a cannibal, and he eats Net Jester.
Oh.
You better fill out some money first. That's all I'm saying. I'm not a cheap date.
All right.
Yank him. I mean, you gotta throw 2 people under the bus here.
We've got the final headline here before we go to my second favorite segment. There's a director found for the redacted movie. They actually found someone to direct a movie about name redacted. Omega BR, director found for Chris Benoit movie.
Well, it must be Kevin Sullivan.
Oh.
I can't. I'm not going to give you negative points, but I'm not going to.
Because he's the only one who really knows what happened that night.
Hello, Cliff. Thy name is
Gunner.
Legal Trouble.
I got this. This week, it was announced that in the new movie, The Crippler, the director that was brought on board was none other than M. Night Shyamalan. Now, you're wondering why M. Night Shyamalan was brought on to do such a biopic piece. Well, it turns out that in a twist of fate, it's going to be Matt Hardy who is going to eat Daniel.
I shouldn't give you points for that because it's about kind of, sort of, the actual thing. But I'm going to give you a couple.
It's a twist.
Yes, a
It's
twist
the
of
whole story
fate.
with a
Yes.
twist.
No, I get it.
And for being M. Night Shyamalan, you should deduct points from him.
I just did deduct points, NetJester, and I deducted them from you. We're not even going to ask you to do this one because I'm going to do it.
Oh, come on.
It has been announced that Steven Spielberg, no less, will be directing the movie about Chris Benoit. Everyone's...
Jew picks the Jew.
Oh, go fuck yourself, you anti-Semite piece of shit.
I know that was coming.
So anyways, Spielberg, along with George Lucas, will be directing the movie about Chris Benoit, everyone's favorite disco dancer. That's right, Chris Benoit, the disco dancer, is having a movie biopic made about him. It will be directed by Spielberg and Lucas, as I said before, and it will be produced by no less than the man behind the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I can't remember his name.
Wes
Why did I just...
Craven.
Wes Craven.
Yeah, Wes Craven. Wes Craven. And probably somewhere they'll bring in Tom Savini to do some special effects or...
Oh, I thought he
It'll
was
be
just
awesome.
going to... I thought he was just going to do E.T. too.
If they don't get Robert Englund for something in here, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well, prepare to be disappointed. He's playing Chris. I'm just kidding.
Chris makes coffee in less than 37 seconds while E.T. phones home. E.T.
Roll credits. With that said, it's time to go on through.
Dairy Queen drive-through.
Time for the Dairy Queen drive-through. Hey, NetJester, why don't you read us some ratings?
It'd be my pleasure, brother. The Impact 718 TNA Impact Wrestling did a final 1.16 cable rating with 1.49 million viewers. This number is up from last week's show that did a 0.99 cable rating with 1.19 million viewers. Friday's episode of WWE SmackDown scored a 2.58 million viewers. That number is up 13% from the 2.28 million of the previous week. The 18 to 49 demographic rating was up 1.7, up a tenth from the previous week. And Monday's Raw drew a 2.94 cable rating, down 3% from last week's 3.04. The Raw drew 4.01 million viewers, down 2% from the 4.1 million viewers last week. The show did hours of 3.92 million, 4.16 million, and 3.93 million, respectively. In the 18 to 49 demo, the rating was 1.4, which was down 14% from last week's 1.6. The show was number 2 among cable shows for the night, behind Love and Hip Hop Atlanta 2. Seriously, people watch that? Anyway, back to you.
And with the birthdays, Yankum DDS.
I'm a little disappointed. I didn't do the birthdays this week, so probably not any dead people. Or
no dead people.
On the 24th, we have Tori Wilson. On the 25th, we have Prince Devitt, Teenage Murphy, and Kenzo Suzuki. On the 26th, we have Icarus and Roderick Strong. On the 27th, we have Matt Bourne, R.I.P., Triple H, Shannon Moore, R.I.P., and Dolph Ziggler. On the
Shannon Moore didn't die.
Nick Jackson. I knew you were going to call me out
Really?
on that. On the 29th, we have Captain Lou Albino, who apparently Gunner forgot to put R.I.P. next to, but
I didn't do the birthdays.
yes, definitely R.I.P. to Captain Lou. We miss you. And
Did
Scott
you just say
Steiner.
albino?
Yes, he said
Albano.
albino.
God fucking damn it. And also, guy,
I am
please save the
from
show.
the Midwest. I have an accent. Go
Albino.
fuck yourself. You're New York City-fied. Who gives a shit?
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this weekend. Wrestling history. Circa 1982, where Abdullah the Butcher is named the first world. The first World Wrestling Council World Heavyweight Champion in Puerto Rico. The title would later become the WWC Universal Heavyweight Championship. Dump. It's 1984, where WWF held the Brawl to End It All match between Wendy Richter, accompanied by Cyndi Lauper, and WWF Women's Champion the Fabulous Moolah, managed by Captain Lou Albano. This was the first major event in the Rock and Wrestling Connection, and the bout, held at Madison Square Garden, was aired live on MTV, drawing a 9.0 rating. And in 2010, Chikara holds their biggest event of the summer, the first ever Chikarasaurus Rex at the famed ECW Arena, a joint venture with Dragon Gate Japan, capped off with Mike Quackenbush and Hollowicked and Jigsaw defeating Naruki Doi, BB Hulk, and Masato Yoshinko in the main event. And that was this week in wrestling history.
Time for some happy trails. Happy trails to Wade Barrett this week, who had a match on Raw with RVD and got kicked in the fucking face, and then was so glad that match was over. Also, happy trails to my sanity, because this WWE's Diva shit, I am going to subject myself to, and I will report on it for the show, just for you guys.
I appreciate that you're brave enough to take this bullet for us. I just say, have another TV set standing by with anything else on it. Keep your sanity going.
I'll have it in the background. I'll laugh at it. I'm looking forward to the actual Tyson Kidd wedding. I mean, Tyson Kidd and Natalya wedding. I mean, that's going to be pretty cool. Besides that, I'm really regretting saying that. Okay, so what should we watch this week in wrestling? Net Jester.
Well, I'm just going to pick something off of Raw. And you're probably all going to hate me this, but this is the first thing that comes to my mind. An absolutely amazing match between Daniel Bryan and Antonio Cesaro, which was Daniel Bryan's gauntlet match, so to speak. The first one between him and Jack Swagger was good, but the second one between him and Cesaro was probably match of the night, and then let's all try to forget the third one against him and Ryback. But, watch this Cesaro portion of that gauntlet match because you shan't be disappointed.
Yagam getting his shit stolen. Yagam, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Oh, was that me? I'm sorry. You could probably hear them. My dogs.
No,
They're going ape shit.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm going to say the Ryback versus Daniel Bryan on Raw last night. And hold on, because I know I'm not the only one who did this. Gauntlet matches work in threes. So after Swagger and the Cesaro match, I was like, who's going to be the third man? And then out comes Ryback, and before I could even realize it was happening, I was saying, but whose side is he on?
I see what you did there. I'll make it be out which we watch this week of wrestling.
I would say the parking garage episode at Classic.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm simulcasting with my Seinfeld podcast.
Seinfeld. What's really funny is that all the jokes on Seinfeld could be solved with a text. I'm just saying.
Well, they didn't have cell phones back then.
You
Apparently.
can't solve who's sponge-worthy with a text message.
So, this week in wrestling, I'm going to suggest the Life and Times of Mick Foley. Because after this podcast, I am going to watch it. Just because I can.
Didn't I suggest that 2 weeks ago?
I think you did. But I'm looking forward to the Legends of Mid-South Wrestling DVD that's coming out soon. That looks like fun. Okay, so that's it for this week in wrestling. And that's it for this show. So, thank you very much for listening. Please visit smarksnark.com for all of your wrestling needs, because